अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह नहमदुहु व नस्तईनुहु व नतवक्कलु अलैहि। Esteemed Sadr Majlis, respected President of the Federation of Islamic Youth Organizations, and beloved members of the member organizations of FIYO, and honorable speakers of the session, dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. मैं सबसे पहले गुफ्तगू उर्दू में नहीं करने के लिए आपसे माफ़ी चाहूँगा। After entering your conference hall, I have become a happier man. Why I am so much excited? Because I have a feeling that history is being made within these confines of this convention conference hall. Here the attendance may be in thousands, 4,000, 5,000, whatever it may be. Under the given circumstances in our country, it is really an achievement. And when we compare this with an idea in science, excuse me for immediately bringing out the scientific ideas. I'm not going into the deep, complex ideas. There is a concept of black hole where a size, the volume of a small ball can contain the mass of one Earth or even 100 Earths. Imagine the kind of situation. A small ball which contains the mass of our Earth or even tens or hundreds of Earths. Scientists say this is really happening in our universe. So it is the density of your iman, the density of your taqwa and ihsan that counts. And that, if we calculate, your 5,000 becomes 5 lakh or 5 million. And that is a great hope for the future. Moreover, you represent the future hope and optimism, the patience and sacrifice for the future community of Islamic Ummah in this country. That is why I really become excited when I come and see thousands of young faces. You are really young blood of the Millat Islamiyah in this country. Make no mistakes, you are going to contribute your great capabilities and sincerity into the development of the Ummah and taking up the challenges before the Ummah. I have no doubt about it. But let us make no mistakes. There are great movements and organizations who have already been working in the country. But we need more. The need of the hour is multiple efforts, organizations and movements which have a dream of unity. If we do not have the desire and dream of unity, we will be missing something very substantial. But with that dream, the multiplicity will be really contributing for building the Ummah and taking up the challenges. So with that idea, there are many organizations, we respect them, we look forward to their contributions, and we want unity. And you are also one of the important segments and components of this awakening Islamic Ummah in this country. This is my point. And inshallah, it's finally Allah who decides what is your density. But looking to the probabilities and the kind of efforts you are making under extremely difficult situations, hopefully Allah will bless you to make greater contributions to the Muslim Islamic Ummah of this country. Philosophically, all human beings, when they start thinking, there are questions coming into his mind. وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. Allah has honored all human beings with intelligence, with the capacity to think, about the future and his fate. What is the universe? Where has it come from? Why this wonderful design? This design is there when a human being who lived 5,000 years ago, at the time of Ibrahim alayhi salam, that wonders and complexities are there. It was there 200 years back. It is now also. What is the difference? There is only a small difference. We have certain amount of details of this design, plan and intelligence behind the universe. 5,000 years back or even 200 years back, we did not have an idea of the vast cosmos. Now it is millions and millions and millions of galaxies. And our galaxy is one of the average galaxies. And our star is a small star. And our Earth is one of the insignificant planets in the universe. So when we think, today we call this, in the sophisticated language of philosophy, the philosophical questions. Who am I? How did this universe come from? Who planned and originated this? What is the power behind this design, the great design, the intelligence, the planning? And when the science go deeper and deeper, the complexity and the amaze, the wonders expand. For instance, today we know billions and billions of neurons within the brain of a single man coordinates his activities, his thinking, his planning, his activities, good or bad. Billions and billions of neurons. That is inside the human brain. Let us think about the vast universe. There are billions and billions of galaxies, no end to it, and complex phenomena. Everything is well arranged. Whether it is the activities of the neurons, whether it is the cosmic complexities, everything has been systematically arranged. So human being, whether it was 5,000 years back or at the time of Ibrahim alayhi salam, there are many questions arise in the mind of a youth, not only youth, from life to death. And he comes to realize, to discover in a way, God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the beginning of the Iman comes from his own thinking, but immediately there is guidance through the Anbiya, the Mursaleen, and finally the guidance through the Quran, the final book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and through the implementation of the last Prophet Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wasallam. This purifies, this strengthens Iman and creates a wonderful human being who can be called a mu'min. It's not easy. There are in many surah, Quran explains, describes how to create a mu'min from an ordinary human being. He has to achieve qualities. He has to strive for that. Many surah. Different aspects has been explained. How to become a better mu'min, a better muttaqi. So my request at the outset is, we have to strive, you have to strive for gaining those qualities. In one of the surah, Surah Shura, 10 qualities have been specifically counted. And there are other surahs which dwell upon other aspects. Iman, tawakkul, avoiding greater sins, and avoiding fawahish, obscenities, and controlling the anger when a situation generates genuine anger. Wa amruhum shura bainahum. They conduct their affairs with mutual consent, respecting the right and equality of all human beings, of all Muslims. They conduct. There is no way of authoritarian style. There is no monarchy. There is no authoritarian style. You have to respect, because as in the Hajjatul Wida, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam declared in the first authentic declaration of human rights, universal human rights, there is no difference between an Arab and a non-Arab. There is no real difference between the black-colored man or a black-skinned man or a white-skinned man. These are all nothing. It boils down to the question, who is a muttaqi, who is a mu'min? So there is no difference. So they conduct their affairs, wa amruhum shura bainahum. They attend to the prayers in time. They spend from whatever has been given to them, man or woman, Muslim or Muslima, from whatever has been granted to them. And they, when they are oppressed, they seek the redressal for their wrongs. So this is one occasion. I'm only reminding that we have to continuously upgrade our iman and our qualities. So to finally to come to the stage, La tahinu wa la tahzanu antumul a'launa in kuntum mu'minin. You are very familiar nowadays with this ayah. Don't lose your heart. Neither fall into despair. You have to achieve mastery over things if you are real believers, if you are true to your faith. I will invite your attention to another aspect of Islam. There are many languages, many continents, many different colors of the skin. This is a small, compared to the universe, this is a small place, but we have a lot of multiplicities, variations, climatic changes, differences. Finally, it signifies nothing. Quran itself says that these are all, it boils down to simply identification marks. But it counts. There are wars, there are conflicts, there are differences between the geographical differences between continents, between different racial groups. But Islam has a wonderful technique of blending universalism and national aspirations. Islam recognizes these differences. They are not primary, they are superficial, but they have to be tackled very carefully. Islam is capable, Islam is careful about tackling these differences of language, race, geography, and all those differences. Why I mention this is, we share the national aspirations of our country. The idea of India, where people have different languages, different religions, and we have a history of different religions and peaceful coexistence. we want to emphasize that the need of peaceful and dynamic coexistence in this country cannot be denied at any cost. Nobody can deny this. If temporarily the situation gives complex, it cannot prolong. This country cannot be dragged into an unnecessary conflict of colossal size. The point is, we share, and those who are in authority should share, that the peaceful and dynamic coexistence of all religious and linguistic groups should be respected. Because we have crores of people, hundreds and millions of people whose we have to wipe the tears from their eyes. There is poverty, starvation, lot of problems. We have to attend to these problems. What is dynamic and peaceful coexistence? It should not be the coexistence of a graveyard. No speaking, no discussion, no debate. No, there should be meaningful discussion and debate. One should have the freedom to speak out. This has been here in India, and it should not be curtailed. But the peace should be retained. There should not be no violence, no conflict, and it should not be at the expense of the public health, public order, and public morality. And we share. India is a country which has a lot of resources, a part of which is contributed definitely by the Muslim group, the farmers, the Muslim laborers, the Muslim experts, the Muslim professionals, as well as other great number of other compatriots of our countrymen. We respect it. We have great achievements in science. We are number 2 in the manpower of the science and technological arena, though we have to improve the qualities. And we have great economists, space scientists, neuroscientists. So we have to build up all these resources and all these professional techniques and manpower for the well-being, for a better India, for a better prosperous India, where there should be peace, there should be freedom, there should be equality. We respect it, and we want India to flourish, to be a prosperous country. We want to wipe the tears from the eyes of all the Dalits, of the backward people, of all the people who are suffering. If we waste our time, we have no time to waste. All the people, ourselves, as well as all those who matters in controlling the affairs of this country, should remember that we have no time to waste. We have no time for conflict. There should be peace. There should be cordial atmosphere. Not at the cost of freedom of expression, not at the cost of the freedom of religion. Now, in the name of Ram Temple, a situation is being created. Looking to the way the things are happening for the last 2 years. For the backward people, the experience of the Dalits, and the experience of Muslims throughout our country. From Bihar, Jharkhand, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, and all places, the situation gives a feeling that in the name of Ram Temple, they are trying to repeat the experiment, the Gujarat experiment of state terrorism and state-sponsored massacre of Muslims. Babri Masjid is still a question. Subramanya Swamy says that by the end of 2016, Ram Temple should be built. We don't have much time, but I would like to, for the sake of conformity, consistency, I would like to very briefly look into the history of the dispute of Babri Masjid. In the year 1949, in the cold days of Uttar Pradesh, the idols were surreptitiously put into the Babri Masjid. Babri Masjid, a functional masjid, where 5 times namaz were going on. And that day, the Fajr namaz was also prayed, and all the namazis had gone out. And at that time, in the darkness, in the semi-darkness of that cold days, surreptitiously, the Hindu Mahasabha people put the idols. And making it an excuse, the administration locked the masjid. Okay, I'm not going into the details. After 50 years, on December 6 of 1992, the Babri Masjid of the 16th century masjid, where namaz was going on continuously without any break for 5 centuries, the Babri Masjid was demolished by the so-called Karasevaks, who appeared there under the leadership of L.K. Advani and Murali Manohar Joshi and all others. Now what happens? In 2002, many things are happening. Many people are killed. The Muslims lost the masjid. And Narasimha Rao, even the Congress leaders today, agree and speak out that Narasimha Rao, the then Prime Minister, cooperated with the RSS and Vajpayee for a secret discussions how to do the act. And even today the Congress leaders, even senior Congress leaders, are speaking about Narasimha Rao's collusion and cooperation with the RSS. In 2002, there is an accidental fire in Godhra. Immediately, and the chief minister of the time was nobody else other than Narendra Modi. For 3 days, grave massacre of Muslims in Ahmedabad and nearer places. And after that, 3 weeks, continuous riots in Ahmedabad. And after that, for 3 months, continuously throughout Gujarat. You can imagine the situation. You can imagine, and the facts and statistics are with us. Thousands of Muslims were massacred. Hundreds were missing. The DGP, Director General of Police of Gujarat during those days, R.B. Sri Kumar, the Director General, the topmost police officer of the state during the riots, came out, and he is still fighting without any compromise that Modi is responsible for stopping the police, top policemen as well as ordinary policemen, from controlling the riots. He let loose the police. Who says? DGP says. DGP of the same state, of the same time, during the same days. R.B. Sri Kumar, he is still fighting whatever way, whatever resources he has been doing. Sanjeev Bhatt, who is an IPS officer, Indian Police Service officer who was in the intelligence of the state government. He says that Modi was responsible, and he is fighting. He is one of the dozens of people who are committedly fighting about exposing the truth. There is no need to expose the truth. The whole world knows. But people like R.K. Raghavan, who headed the SIT, suppressed the facts, did not allow Sanjeev Bhatt and R.B. Kumar to speak out and to bring the evidences. Suppressing the evidences, Rajiv Kumar, this R.K. Raghavan gave the clean sheet. But truth has a habit of coming out, and it will come in its own way. The whole world knows. There is a Shakespearean verse, all the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten those hands of Modi and his collaborators in this massacre. Fair is foul and foul is fair. Whatever fair has been described and pictured as foul, whatever foul has been manipulated as fair. But fair will become fair and foul become foul. So now why I remind at this time is, again Subramanya Swami is saying, even when the Supreme Court says that we need time, in 2010, the Lucknow bench of the Allahabad High Court came out with this verdict of the land dispute of Babri Masjid. They divided into 3 parts, and that is history. We know it. Some of us know the details. I am not going into the different aspects of that verdict. But immediately the aggrieved parties went to Supreme Court for challenging the verdict, and that is pending for 6 years. Few months back, 6 months back, in a particular situation, judges of the Supreme Court, who had been hearing occasionally certain aspects of this case, told, we need time for translating thousands, tens of thousands of records and documents which are in different languages, in Urdu, in Persian, in Sanskrit, in Hindi, to English, so that the judges can be well versed with those documents. They need time, they need to translation. First of all, there should be proper, good translators. Then they have to be studied to sort out the facts from the wrongs. So they had told that. Even after that, Subramanya Swami says that, not only Subramanya Swami, the Bhagavat also says that it should be built soon. How can it be possible? The ruling establishment, they have to control these people. They publicly speak out. But this is their habit of betrayal and subterfuge. Different people speak in different voices. Kalraj Mishra, who is a union minister, told on February 8th of 2016, the government of India will decide about the construction of temple after the verdict of the Supreme Court. Supreme Court says we want time. And Subramanya Swami is one of your important senior leaders. For him, anything goes. Sab chalta hai. This is the situation we are facing. Who we have to believe? Who is speaking their real intentions? Who is speaking their real intentions? This is the situation we are passing through. That is why the people, we have to offer peaceful and committed resistance to this kind of manipulations. I would also likely to briefly come to the world situation, though it is not very much related directly, but indirectly it is related. After the colonialism, in the 1950s and 1960s, most of the countries in Asia and Europe which were under the colonial yoke of the European countries, Italy, Britain, Germany, France, they became free. But then came the First World War and the Second World War. The Europe and America, which now together we call Western powers, manipulated, and they gradually converted the situation into a neo-colonialist situation. Colonialism by creating conflicts, and colonialism by running a war industry. Their prosperity mainly depends on the war industry. And to make the war industry go, they want conflict. They are manufacturing conflict. And the main victims are the countries of Asia and Europe, particularly the Muslim countries in the Middle East. We know what is happening in Syria. It is happening 80% Muslims, 10% Alawis of Bashar al-Assad, who are theologically much different, and as the Iranians say, they are deviated from their version of Shiism. Still, what is happening? Remember the figure, 80,000 Muslims. If you want to say, distinguish, you say they are Sunnis. 10% Christians and others, 10% Alevis, who are much deviated from the Iranian Shiism. Still, what is Iran happening? 5 years, 6 lakhs of people have been massacred, armless people. 50 lakhs or 60 lakhs of people have become migrants. It is happening for 5 years. We have UNO, we have America, we have the world police, all are bombarding. But number one criminal, excuse me for taking this name, is Iran. Iran is facilitating. Bashar al-Assad is nothing but the stooge of Iran, of Khamenei. So-called Hezbollah, the so-called Hezbollah of Lebanon is nothing but the stooges of Khamenei, of Iran. Why it is not stopping? When they speak about the principles and ideals of United Nations, they speak patience, peace, democracy, justice, controlling conflict. Nothing is happening. Even from the beginning, we did not have much hope in the United Nations. But it has come to the bottom line, and it has a fitting Security Secretary General, Ban Ki-moon, and his words and statements have no value other than the values of the utterances of the street beggars. What is happening? 5 years suffering. If you follow what is happening for the 5 years, the gravity of the situation in Syria, we can realize how the world order they are changing. What Obama speaks and what he means. What Khamenei speaks and what he means. What Putin says and what he means. So we have to realize that we are living in this world. We need patience. We need infinite patience. We need endless optimism and hope. And that is what Islam expects from us. Whatever happens, if you are real believers, you are superior. And yuriduna liyutfi'u nurallahi bi afwahihim wallahu mutimmu nurihi walau karihal kafirun huwa alladhi arsala rasulahu bil huda wa dinil haqqi liyudhhirahu ala ad-din kullihi walau karihal mushrikun. They seek to extinguish, to put out the light of Allah. Is it possible? With their mouths. This is their dream. But Allah will perfect His light, though the unbelievers may dislike it. He, Allah, it is who sent His apostle, His messenger, His Rasul, with guidance and the true religion, so that He may exalt it above all religions, even though the polytheists may dislike it. I am concluding. I will take only 2 minutes. I have taken the name of Islam. I have no sympathy for any cruel monarchs or autocrats of the Muslim countries. The situation in Saudi Arabia and Iran are different. But Saudi Arabia made a great blunder by cooperating with the CIA plan, the American plan to kick out the democratically elected with vast majority through 5 elections, parliamentary, presidential, referendum in Egypt within a span of 6 months, in kicking out the democratically elected government of Mohammed Morsi. And the King Abdullah of, the then King of Saudi Arabia, the King Abdullah, made a great blunder and mistake and great cruel act of rewarding that coup d'etat, the military coup, by offering $5 billion. That was originally a plan of Israel, implemented through CIA. That is what is happening in world affairs. So, in that case, it was definitely King Abdullah made a great blunder. So we have to realize the situation, and we have to steer clear of these kind of blunders and autocracies and kind of oppression. They want to create differences between Muslims, and we want to distinguish. My final plea is, we want unity, but we have to discover the real, genuine unity. In the name of unity, in the name of deceitful, in the name of subterfuge kind of unity we should not have. We should broaden the unity with all keeping away the smaller differences of all the sects in India, but keep clear of the cheating and betrayal, but focus on the real unity of the masses, of the farmers, of the laborers, of the educated section, and let us build a broader unity, and let us be prepared to take up the challenges to make the Muslim community in India prosper, as well as for the country, for a prosperous India, with giving all the services and sacrifices for a better future, and if necessary, ready to be prepared to offer all sacrifices. Wa akhir da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alamin.